Hello there, friends and followers, and welcome to another live stream and another Microsoft Flight Simulator stream. I want to welcome all of you to this stream. It's a bit of a late stream here in Kuwait. It's just 5 minutes after midnight, so welcome. And today we're going to be flying the fly-by-wire A320 with the first officer next. Now, I've done a review of First Officer Next, and it had some issues at the time. And today, I think it's in a state where it's actually pretty good. It's really has come a long way, and the developer has really taken all the comments to heart and has made some changes and some updates, and it's in a state where I think it's an add-on that is worthy of its price. And today we are going to be flying from Echo November Tango Charlie to Echo November Bravo Oscar. This airport, Tromsø Airport, is that of Simulations, another partner of the Kuwait Pilot channel. And the airport was provided courtesy of the developer himself. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be putting first officer to the next. We're going to be using the voice command as well to see if it responds to the commands as it should. The weather is less than perfect here, and already it looks like first officer next has automatically summoned the ground services to the aircraft, and as you can see now, it's being loaded by the baggage, and the catering service is in position. We're flying Scandinavian today. This is of course not it's a real world route, but it's not flown in the Airbus. It's actually Scandinavian. It's a Boeing 738 that actually flies this route. But nonetheless, it should be a fun flight. Let's go ahead and start things up. First, we are gonna, let me just bring first officer next here so you guys can see, I think, what I'm doing. All right, so we have the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure the voice is enabled, and we're going to go to performance, not performance, but we're going to go to, I'm not sure what is the first officer already started? No. Okay, so we're going to go to
starting engine 2.
No. That's not what you're supposed to do. So let me exit that. Not sure why it has already gone to that stage, but that's all right. All right, let's bring it back here. And it's not a perfect day to fly, but nonetheless, it should be a nice challenge to fly this aircraft during this. All right, well, let's say get flight plan, download from SimBrief. Yes, we already have the plan loaded. As you can see now, we have the departure airport. So nice integration of first officer next with SimBrief. And as you can see now, we have the airport, departure runway. We have the flight altitude is 26,000 feet. There is a SID according to our flight plan here. Let me see here. Let's check real quick. It looks like there is a SID. All right. Yeah, definitely there is a SID. So we're going to say yes. And we're going to do flaps 1. So 1 detent, which is flaps 1. The arriving airport is, as you can see, ANBO or Bodo, I believe, and runway 25 is the arrival runway. All right, so now what we can do is we are going to go to home, and we're going to begin with so the flight plan is downloaded. We're going to begin with the pre-flight flows, and this is when the officer says 5 seconds for co-pilot to get seated, Control L to skid.
Good afternoon, Captain.
All right, so the co-pilot is now here, and he's going to begin with performing the safety checks and get the aircraft ready for departure. All right, in the meantime, what we are going to do, as you can see, by the way, all of this is configurable, so you can configure the first officer next to either start with the GPU or APU. So for example, on the CRJ, by the way, it supports the CRJ, the fly-by-wire, the 787 with the heavy mod, and it also works with the headwind, Airbus headwind. So there are separate add-ons, so it's not all for one, but I think this is a really nice add-on to have. Now we can skip this, but we're just gonna let it do its thing. I'm gonna leave this for the time being so you guys can see what First Officer Next does. Normally of course we would hide this. It says, you know, as you can see, ground power established, and now he's doing the checks, crew oxygen supply, setting the adheres.
Program CDU.
All right, so he's set the adheres to nav mode, and now he's asked us to program the CDU. Now you can also select the first officer to actually do the CDU for you, and he will actually program the McDo entirely for you. But of course, this is not what we want at this point. We are going to come down here to the FMCG, and we're going to init, and we're going to select the init request, and this will get everything from SimBrief. As you can see here, we can also come to the flight pad and set our fuel. All right, so we're going to just import from SimBrief. As you can see now, we are leaving ENTC-ENBO Bodo Airport.
All right, I'm going to check out the aircraft.
All right, he's going to go check the aircraft now. He'll do the walk around. And by the way, you can also, once we land, I'll show you can actually download a Spanish Copilot, English, German. So there's a set of voices that you can get. Let's go to the fuel real quick, right here. Let's go to fuel. And again, I love the fact that now you can just simply click here and it would download the fuel. And we click here, and now we have the correct amount of fuel, which is 5861 kilograms of fuel. And we'll go back to the McDo. And of course, we need to wait for the aircraft to be loaded. And this is the experimental version, by the way. We can go to RS init, and we can see that the RS is aligned. So we're going to go back to the McDo menu. We're going to go to ATSU, and then to the AOC menu. First, we're going to come here, and as you can see, we have the departure and the destination. And next, we're going to go to the weight and balance. We're going to send that, and we have now everything here. I'm going to say start, and now you can hear the passengers loading in the background. Here's some nice sounds there with the we'll change this. Perfect. So if we look at now, by the way, we can skip there are about 336 seconds for the walk around to complete, but we can skip it. But what I'd like to do is to actually show you the this airport, this beautiful airport by MM Simulations. And let's see here. Why is it not doing? Sure why I'm unable to move the aircraft. Okay. There we go. All right. So, by the way, folks, as you can see now I'm moving. I can move fast, and I can also slow down the drone camera, and I can completely stop it. And in order for you to do this, you can use F5 and F6. F6 is to increase the drone speed, forward, backward, and left and right. And F7 and F8 is to slow down this movement here. So if I go F7, see, if I keep pressing, now it stops. Now F8. Now you can see how slow this is. So we can increase it a bit. And we can also increase the drone forward speed, and we can go through the terminal here and show you this rather beautiful aircraft, the beautiful airport by Simulations. Again, I've showcased their Dalaman airport, which is pretty nice, and this is actually also a very nice airport, quite detailed as well. As you can see here, you see the passengers and you see the transfer to all departments. That's the way forward. You've got all the shops as well, all the signs, and really nice airport by Simulations. Quite detailed. I love what they've done here with the terminal. Very nice, and we're starting to see a lot of this with, for example, Brussels Airport, Dalaman Airport, KRNT. So we're definitely seeing a lot more of this high fidelity in terms of airports. So this is actually one airport I really like. You can see here all the shops, the coffee shops, the restaurants have been modeled. Pizza Hut, and it looks like this is again some sandwich store there. So very nice indeed in terms of the modeling of the interior of the airport, with the passengers moving, and the entire terminal is modeled both inside and out. Really nice airport. Very nice in terms of the custom buildings there, and really a beautiful rendition of the airport. All right, let's see how we're doing here. Let's head back to the cockpit. Looks like it's snowing right now, so should be interesting. And Lufthansa 001, good evening, my friend. Travlino blog, welcome aboard. Rishal Sanfiego, Wilford, welcome aboard. FSXRJ, it is definitely snowing. Manuel, hello, my friend, and welcome. That's testimony from somebody who's been to this airport many times. I'm glad that you were there and that you've shared your thoughts with us. I'm glad that it's an accurate airport, because that's what I thought when I actually looked over everything that Simulations have done. It's just really a beautiful looking airport. So yeah. I wish scenery devs would give the option of an airport interior to save frames. KBoS is horrendous, stunning, but terrible frames. I totally agree with you, and that should be an option, because it does really make a huge difference with these really very detailed interiors. It really does take a lot frames to render the scene. So if we look down here, folks, and we're still not, we're still not even halfway through. So the passengers are still kind of coming aboard the aircraft, which is okay. We can, first officer is still doing the walk around as well. And yeah, a very nice airport. By the way, let me just very quickly just show you one thing. If we turn off live weather, just so you can see how beautiful everything shows, and all the taxiways, everything is really rendered beautifully. You can see Hertz there. All the surrounding buildings in the airport vicinity have been modeled, which is very nice. Again, you can see more details now. You can see the flags there as well. So a very nice airport. All right, so the aircraft looks good. That's what the first officer says. And let's bring up the live weather again. The walk around seems to be complete, and now he's setting the MFD. So as you can see now, by the way, you can see that this is what the first officer does, and it says pilot flying. So for me, I need to be doing the McDo, get the weather and the IFR clearance. He's setting up now. He's done with the pre-flight flow. Now we can go to the pre-flight checklist in a little bit, but we can actually, with the pre-flight checklist, I think the first officer will turn on the APU. So it looks like he's closed the doors. Flight plan, pre-flight complete. All right, let's do the pre-flight checklist.
Pre-flight checklist. Cockpit preparation.
Completed.
Passenger signs.
On.
Aiders.
Set.
Fuel 12921 pounds. Checked. FMGS.
Set.
Altimeters.
Set.
Checklist complete.
All right. So as you can see, it responds beautifully to the voice commands that I give, and we are done with the pre-flight checklist now. We're going to wait for the passengers to load before we can set our proper zero fuel weight in the aircraft. We can set it now. We can enter it from the aircraft, but we'll just I'll show you how you can reduce the workload in this fly-by-wire A320 with the help of First Officer Next. MSR 220, I bought the TCA Airbus Officer Pack. What do you think about it? I think it's great. The TCA pack is excellent. Personally, I feel it's an excellent add-on for, it's an excellent gear for flight simulation. Brilliant, really. Very good. All right, so we're going to go back to the menu here, and we are going to go to the AOC, weight and balance. We'll not worry about this. It will set this. It will correct. It's just loading the rest of the passengers. About 70 passengers more, and we should be good to go. And this needs to be in, 1019er. And we'll wait for the first officer now to set things up. I think the before start flow is when we start the APU, but I think we probably need the APU to warm up the cabin because it's quite cold.
Starting engine 2.
What? No, that's not what we want to do. Action aborted. All right, so some glitches still, but anyway. All right, let's do the before start flow. All right, so as you can see now, the first officer will start the APU. FSX REJ, thank you very much for your super chat. £5. Thank you very much for your generosity, sir. Really appreciate it. Appreciate your support. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Thank you for so many flight sim tutorials. You're quite welcome. Glad the channel is helpful. All right, so let's see here. So all right, so we can see that it says 54 seconds for aircraft to energize. You can hold Control Alt to skip, but we're just going to leave it because we still have a number of passengers to load. So we'll let this take its course. I'm not sure why it's, you know, it wants to start the engines and it's doing some funny things, and I'm sure there are still glitches, especially with Sim Update 9. I'm sure there are glitches that we need to probably be aware of as we fly, and not completely depend on the first officer. So
go ahead.
Check the doors.
oh, look at that. He's already started the engines and
Set.
I think it's picking up my voice.
Set.
All right, so I just disabled the voice so that it doesn't think that I'm speaking to it. All right, so the APU is now turned on, and we are supplying some air to the aircraft. It should say he will go through the. So what's going to happen in about 17 seconds? The APU start APU will light green. We will disconnect the GPU, set the fuel pump, set the beacon light, set the FCU, and lock the cockpit door. That's what's going to happen momentarily. And I think he will also set the altitude and the landing elevation, all that good stuff. All right, by the way, we can come here and do the flight plan. So if we look at our flight plan here, we are going to be departing runway 18. All right, so departure, runway 18 through the MM3 Bravo departure, and insert. And then at Bodo, we are going to be arriving at runway ILS runway 25 through the get to 7 Delta. That's the one. And do we have a transition? Let's see if there is a transition there. Bit key, let's see. That's the one, that's the transition. And we're gonna say insert. And let's take a look at our flight plan, make sure that there are no discontinuities, which there aren't any. And there are a few restrictions in terms of altitude. Yeah, so that's fine. 26,000 feet is our final cruise altitude. And, all right, so we can now skip this, Control Alt.
Starting push.
No. Why are we starting
Cockpit
the push?
to ground.
This is ground. Stand by.
Flight attendants, arm doors, and cross-check.
All right, looks like we are done with the loading
Dear
passengers.
This is to inform you that the aircraft door is closed and we will be ready for departure. In order for
Yeah.
us to push back, we would
we're
require
actually
that
still-
all passengers are seated with their seatbelts fastened and
Ground.
seats in
Please
the
cancel
upright
pushback
position.
operation.
All carry-on
Roger,
luggage
pushback
shall be
canceled.
either in the
I
overhead
think there is an
compartment or
automation
the
in
seat
First
front
Officer
seat.
Next which actually
Ground crew will be
causes
passing
these.
to make their final
Cockpit to
safety
ground.
checks before departure.
This is ground. Stand
Clear
by.
to start engines.
All right, it's definitely not doing what it's supposed to do. All right, we're just gonna wait for everything to all the passengers to load the
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed. Please set parking
Santiago.
brakes.
Hello, my friend. Welcome.
Please set parking brakes.
All right, so the we can go now to performance, and we can actually we'll go to
Please
the
set parking
init
brakes.
page, and we can now select the correct zero fuel, and our fuel is 5861. 5.9 should do. All right, perfect. And then we're going to go to performance, and we're going to be doing flaps 1 for departure today. And then we can select our B1, speed rotate, and B2. Transition altitude is 7,000. Go to the flight plan, and if we look at our flight plan here, it looks okay. That's top of climb. And top of descent should be immediately after that. And that's the turn into the runway, runway 25. That's the final fix. And that's the runway. It's
Stopping pushback.
Ground,
Set parking
please cancel
brakes.
pushback operation.
Roger. Pushback canceled.
all right. It's doing a lot of strange things, but nonetheless, you know, we are good to go now. So we're gonna go the before start checklist.
Before start checklist. Doors.
Closed.
Beacon light.
On.
Parking brake.
Set.
Checklist complete.
All right. Now we can do the pushback. And let's see here. we'll put the aircraft here.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground. Stand by.
Let's enable voice again.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed. Please set parking brakes.
The parking brakes are set.
Tow bar
You may lift.
disconnected. See you on the left
Parking
side.
brake
of the
set.
pin.
Lifting the aircraft.
Have a great flight.
Things are not exactly in sync with the...
We are cleared for start and push.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
All right, parking brake is released.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
It will start in the sequence.
All right, so now we can go to start engines. Is the door still
Starting
open?
engine 2.
You know what, let's bring some lights to... There we go. That's much better. As you can see, the first officer has already set the altitude. And let's see if he continues to do the rest of the stuff. Let's bring up some lights here, right here, and back here.
Starting engine 1.
And starting engine 1 now. The sounds are amazing. Looks like this livery needs updating. There's a white thing here. I'm not sure what that is, but definitely it looks like it requires updating.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
All right, parking brake is set.
Parking brake set.
Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
Ground. Startup is complete. You may disconnect.
Roger. Good engine start. Cleared to disconnect. See you at the side. Have a good flight.
Holding position waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
All right, so now what we can do, I think you need to go into the fly pad and enable dynamic
engine stable.
registration. All right, the engines are stable. Let's do the after start flow. As you can see, the APU's been turned off. Looks like anti-ice is turned on. Taxi light is turned on, again by the first
Set.
officer. not sure what that 0 that came out.
Shutdown checklist.
No.
APU bleed.
All right, let's do taxi checklist, please.
Taxi checklist. Flight controls. Full left. Full right. Full back. Full forward. Checked. Trim.
Checked.
Briefing.
Completed.
Flaps.
Set.
FMA takeoff data.
Checked.
Transponder.
Set.
Checklist complete.
All right, we're ready to go. So, taxi checklist is done. Let me disable voice for a minute here, and let's taxi to the runway. All right, here we go. Parking brake released. Look at that wing flex. Beautiful. Actually, let's go to the next taxiway. Alright, so we're going to set the auto brake to max. Speed brake is already armed. Flaps 1. Alright, let's notify cabin crew.
From the cockpit, this is your first officer. Just want to take a moment to welcome you aboard and thank you for flying with us today. Our taxi to the runway should be pretty uneventful, and we're anticipating an on-time departure. Just sit back, relax, and we'll have you in the air shortly.
Right, here we go. We're taxiing to the runway. And we're just going to follow the... It's very difficult to see the ground marking with the... with all the snow. And the turn to the runway is right ahead of us now. Not sure if we can actually continue forward. I think this is the last. We need to make the turn here, and yeah, we'll head to the end of the runway. Yeah, that's our turn. Before takeoff checklist. All right, let me. Before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist. Engine mode selector.
Set.
Packs.
Set.
ECAM memo.
No blue.
Checklist complete.
As you can see, the first officer has turned on the lights. I'm going to go head over to the very beginning of the runway just to give the aircraft, since you know we have some snow here. We're going to go to, let's set the. There we go. We are actually ready to go now. Not sure what this message here. What are we getting here? Packs. Okay. Not sure what happened here, but we came to... Did he set... Oh. What in the world has happened here? Shutdown flow completed, it says. Oh boy. First officer has just completely shut everything down. So, all right. The co-pilot has just shut down everything. So, God, this is it's not my day, I guess. It's not my day. Yeah, all right. Let's start the APU. Hopefully, we haven't lost the programming and the passengers, and we'll just start the aircraft and head over to our destination. Not sure why first officer is not doing what it's supposed to do. In a previous flight, he was doing just fine. And hopefully we have it. It looks like all the information is intact. So we just need to, I suppose, start our engines again. Yeah, it looks like we have everything set here. Let's make sure. Looks like we have everything already in there, with the exception of all right, let's turn on the lights. That's to take off when we turn off lights. Beacon is on. And
Flight attendants, arm doors, and cross-check.
all right, let's go ahead and start our engines. Engine number 2 first. The first officer has been officially relieved of active duty and put on suspension to investigate his senseless and illogical actions. So,
Once again, we'd like to welcome you on board. Your safety is our top priority, so we appreciate a few minutes of your attention while we demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft. You can follow along with the safety information card in your seat back pocket. To fasten your seatbelt, insert the flat metal edge into the buckle and pull on the strap to tight. To release, just lift the top flap of the buckle. Please keep your seatbelt back and low and tight across your lap.
all right, we'll just wait for the engine to start, and we'll be out of our way. We'll adjust the throttle.
Wrap the strap around your waist. Secure the buckle and pull the strap tight. As you exit the aircraft, place the special line down firmly on the red tab, or blowing into the tube from both sides. A locator light on the shoulder.
All right, engine number 2 is available, and let's go engine number 1.
This Airbus A32nx is an emergency.
Speed brakes still set. Flaps are still set on flaps 1. We'll set the transponder to TARA. Let's see. There we go. Starting the second engine. Terrible first officer, huh? Yeah, the FAA has been notified. Is this aircraft plug and play? Not my plug and play. I'm not sure what you mean if it's plug and play, but this is probably it's the ZEBO of Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's a very good aircraft. Not quite study level yet, but it's definitely getting there, especially with the introduction of LNAV, with the VNAV. All right, we have a good start on the second engine. APU bleed is off. APU master is off. We're going to turn on seatbelt signs, and I think engine anti-ice should be turned off for takeoff. So I'm going to turn off the engine anti-ice, and let's see here. It looks like all is good here, and though this is ENOP, but you can turn on the weather prediction, and so you will get rid of that message here that says it's not there. Engine mode selector back to normal, and we are now ready to go. All right, Release parking brake. This is runway 18. Let's get lined up. Let's start the clock. All right, we're good to go. Positive rate of climb, gears going up. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've got to love the sounds. Why is climb thrust not engaging? Alright, there we go. Climb thrust is set. Speed check, flaps 1. And autopilot 1 is engaged. Speed brake. And we continue our climb now, ladies and gentlemen. The sounds are definitely very, very nice on this aircraft. Brilliant. When you enable climbing, to which position do you set the lever? So here's, if you look here on the Airbus, it's everything is noted for you. So for when you're flexing, you put the throttle on the flex. If you're doing toga, then it goes to this position. And once you are at the acceleration altitude, then you will see climb thrust, and then you move the throttle to this little dot here. You see this says CL for a climb. So you set it there, and pretty much the auto throttle will be engaged and will take over, and you will continue reaching the standard barrel reference. 7,000 is the transition altitude. And oh, there we go. We're off the clouds, and we probably should have had our engine anti-ice and wing anti-ice, but let's take a look at the outside. Look at that. What a beautiful scene. Check complex. Really a very well made. It's, by the way, the flybywire A320 is based on the default Sobo Airbus, but they really made so many changes, and this is payware material, absolutely free of charge. Really commendable work by the flybywire team. Just check this out. Beautiful wing view there. You have to really adore the clouds. In Sim Update 9, things have really improved in this version of Microsoft Flight Simulator. This update has been mainly an update to address a lot of the issues. By the way, there was we used to always disable, there was an on-screen optimizations, whatever, that no longer works. Just look at that. That is a beautiful looking scene. That's our top of the climb coming up. Let's increase the lights inside the cockpit for both the lower and upper ECAMs. And we're going to bring some light to our purcahse. There you go, that's much better. You can see there. Because I had a little issue with the Tolos A321 about 2 hours ago. After the climb ended, I set up to climb and re-engage the auto throttle. The message was not working. AT still showed up. That could indicate that the auto throttle or something is not set correctly. Definitely Andre's awesome visuals in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Guys, look at this beautiful looking scene. So much for our First Officer Next. I really wanted to show you guys all the updates, but it looks like, and I just actually downloaded an update for First Officer Next, but it looks like this update is totally broken. Yeah, definitely. MSFS is definitely a beauty in terms of how it looks. I adore the beauty of how the world is depicted in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Very, very nice indeed. Now, folks, the top of climb, or the top of descent, is not too far from top of climb. You see, this is top of climb, and this is top of descent. So we're not too far. And here's another look at the beautiful scene out of this A320 passenger view. The cold fronts. Look at that. Just lovely. Very, very nice indeed. Alright, let me come down here. We're going to take, you see the TC, and then it's immediately the top of descent. Let's take a note of our final, looks like 3,000 feet is the final. See, this is the center fix for runway 25, the final fix, and then we are at Bodo. So, yeah, it should be a nice short flight. Look at those clouds. Beautiful. Just really beautiful. That's a beautiful looking scene right there. Santiago says also, I have been trying to set those wing views to my stick, but have no idea on how to do it. Are you referring to Microsoft Flight Simulator or X-Plane? Just curious, are you a real pilot? No, sir, Fabio, I am not. Yeah, this is very beautiful. Yes, indeed. Look at that. You see the mountain range over there is looking fantastic. All right. So we are now approximately, well, we are actually at our cruise altitude. A few more, there we go, that's 26,000 feet, our final cruise altitude. And that's the top of descent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start entering the arrival information. So we're going to go to the next phase here, and next. There we go. And I'm going to grab the information here for Bodo. Weather information, the weather at Bodo, we have about 320 degrees 2-knot wind, so things are calm. Few clouds at 1,500 feet, scattered clouds at 1,000, and QNH is 1024, so 1024. And the temperature is
ladies and gentlemen, once again from the flight deck,
1 degrees.
We've just reached our cruising altitude for the flight. As it begins to settle in, I do want to remind you to please keep your seat belts clear from the aisle as the flight attendants will be coming through the cabin with galley cards shortly. Also, one more reminder to please refrain from congregating near the front galley where the flight deck door is located. Thank you.
By the way, the sound you just heard is of that of V1 simulations. Alright, so that's the top of descent now. And there are a few restrictions along the way. So if you look here, this is 17.8. There are definitely a few restrictions. There's definitely one here at 8,300. So here's what we'll do. We are going to set the initial altitude to 8,000 feet. And we are just, right now we can see ILS 25. Oh, this is just beautiful. This is one of the things I really like in Microsoft Flight Simulator is the depiction of seasons. So, although not all the seasons are properly you know, shown, but at least there's a difference between flying in winter time, how you get the TOD. So all right, so the VNAV feature is only available in the experimental version of the fly-by-wire. So if you want to use it, then you need to get the experimental version. And that's how you get it. My personal opinion, I think X-Plane 12 graphics will be same as MSFS ones, if not more natural. But in terms of physics, XP11 is more realistic. I absolutely agree with you there on the latter part. Definitely in terms of the physics, Microsoft Flight X-Plane 11 is superior. And I think, it has to do with the way both sims, you know, calculate the model, the flight model. One uses blade element theory, one uses lookup tables. So we can actually put these off, and wing it can go off. All these lights can go off. All right. Here's the top of descent mark. So we're not too far from them. We just reduce this to 20 nautical miles range so that we have a better view of where we're heading. And all's looking good. Have you had your hands on the PMDG 737? No, sir, I have not. Well, I really appreciate you guys staying up late. It's pretty late here in Kuwait. It's 1 a.m. In Kuwait. So for those of you who are staying up late to watch the stream, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's very unusual that I do streams at this hour, but we are coming up to a very long holiday here in Kuwait, and I decided that today I'm going to do a stream to make up for the mess I made out of the SWS RV14 stream earlier. So I thought I put in, a good show for you guys before I call it a day. It's in Germany, it's 12 a.m. Oh, okay. Wow, that's late, Sammy. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Appreciate all of you guys, all of your presence here with me this this late evening, or I should say probably morning. But I tell you, this is really nice. I really love the fact that you can see the snow, you can see different seasons. It's much more realistic to be able to see the seasons. And without a doubt, the depiction of clouds and the representation of meteorological data in this sim in Microsoft Flight Simulator is superior to anything else I've seen so far in a flight sim. Alright, top of descent, let's go ahead and descent. There we go. Okay, begun the descent now. Should be an interesting approach. By the way, the area that we're flying to is a very mountainous area. So we need to be very careful with our altitude. Now this says ENO. Now this actually, the terrain on ND works in the released version.
As we have noticed, we have begun our initial descent down to our destination. Now would be a good time to wrap up any business you need to take care of as we prepare for approach. If you are up, once you return to your seat, we ask that you remain seated until the aircraft arrives safely at the gate. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival. All right.
So, so this actually terrain on ND works on the release version. 0.75, I believe, is the released version now that has been made compatible with. It's been made compatible with Sim Update 9. And if we go to our flight plan here, 18.3, we're still looking good. No worries there. I think we need some drag to reduce our speed, so let's give it some drag. Will help reduce the speed. I think this is a bug here. It says it keeps saying climb all the time. And I don't think this is right. But reducing our speed now. Remy, good night, my friend. Oh, greetings from the Netherlands. Greetings from Kuwait, my friend, to you. Thank you very much. Good night, my friend. Stay safe. More drag, it looks like. Yeah, so this area ahead of us is a very mountainous area, so we need to be very careful. Alright, that's good enough. Let's go ahead and disarm the speed brake. Just look at that. What a beautiful looking scene. gorgeous. One of the things I like about this hobby, flight simulation in general, is that it is very educational and you learn a lot about the world. And so I normally find spots in you know, on the map, and then I say, oh, that's an interesting spot, let me go and, you know, explore it. And then you start reading about the country and about the people, and it really is a lot of fun to learn about other cultures. I know a lot about, you know, about the world from flight sim, and I'm very grateful that, you know, I came to this hobby when I did. And definitely it's very rewarding. Just look at that, guys. The mountain range here is just absolutely gorgeous, very, very beautiful. And this is one very realistic scene. Beautiful depiction of clouds, mountains, everything's just looking fantastic. All right. We look at our flight plan, 11.7. We are at 17. We're still looking good. And we will leave it now at 8. Right, we're looking good in terms of our altitude. Excuse me. We're still in managed speed, but the speed, not sure what's going on there. But we're definitely going to need our engine anti-ice as we approach our destination. Beautiful looking scene, really. Alright, if we look at our altitude, I'm not sure why the speed isn't picking up, but it should pick up. Anyway, we're approaching our destination, 13,000. We need to be at 11.9, so I'm going to go ahead and reset this now to 3,000 feet. We're looking alright. That's the center fix and the final fix. We're not too far now, and yeah, we're looking good. You can see again the mountains here. That is a beautiful scene here out of the cockpit. Brilliant. Just really brilliant. This is probably my favorite airliner to date in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the fly-by-wire A320. And the there are a handful of aircraft that I actually fly in Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is one of them. I like the Quest Kodiak by SWS. The range of aircraft from Just Flight, including the military trainer. And then, of course, I absolutely adore the Cessna Chancellor by FlySimware. A very good aircraft, highly recommended. Again, if you like, you know, this type of aircraft, it's one that I would highly recommend. A very realistic aircraft by, again, account of real-world pilots. Guys, just look at the scene here. It's just absolutely gorgeous. All right, so we're approaching 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and turn on the landing lights. Nose lights to take off, runway turn off lights, and taxiing out. All right, so let's turn all the lights on. Now it looks like the speed is much better. So now the flight management computer is doing a good job maintaining the speed. And if we look at our flight plan, we are at so 8,500 is the altitude we need to be at. So far, the fly-by-wire has been doing a good job maintaining top of descent, top of climb. Pretty much, we got there where it told us we would. So that's pretty good. Now we need to be careful with this area here in all the mountains. Because I know there's a mountain range ahead of us. Let me just put this to... no, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Let's turn on the landing system. We're actually getting pretty close, as you can see here. So it looks like the approach phase is activated. You see the mountains here. All right, let's go ahead and reset this to 3,000. All right, let's take a quick look at our previous phase. There we go, 133 million. What I'm going to do, we can set this to, I'm going to go to, we'll switch this back to managed speed, but for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and reduce our speed to 180 knots. All right, we're looking good. Speed check, flaps 1. We can actually lower the landing gear now. to manage speed. Forgot about our QNH.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
Speed check, flaps 3. Probably, so that's our turn. Now, I'm not sure. I've never flown into this airport in the past. So, but according to the glide slope needle, we needed to have the landing gear down. So we'll leave it. That's okay. Oh, this is beautiful. Just look at that, folks. That is absolutely beautiful. Alright, speed check, flaps full. Maybe we configured a little early, but you know what? Let me bring up the flight control replay, and we are going to record this session, or the landing, so that we can replay it afterwards. This is actually a really nice approach. Very scenic. It's gone all the way there. Alright, let's go and approach. Localizer captured. We probably configured for landing way too early, but that's okay. Is that the airport? Alright, we're almost there now. I still can't see the runway. It should be straight ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and enter autopilot 2 just in case we don't have a proper visual, and then we'll have the aircraft auto land. Otherwise we'll disconnect at 1,000 feet and land the aircraft manually.
2,500.
This looks beautiful. And very, very realistic, very immersive.
2,500.
That's the glide slope needle coming down. go ahead and we're going to record this. So we're going to just
2,500.
type in something. We'll call it Airbus. Alright, we're recording now. Still can't see the runway. Is that the runway there? Looks like that's the runway. So the runway is a bit tilted, so it's not a straight in approach. So we will disconnect. Looks like you know, the clouds are okay. So we're going to disconnect at 1,000, and we will hand fly the aircraft and land it. Still looking good. I have the runway in sight. We're looking good. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the autopilot. And we are going to hand fly the aircraft to the approach. Autopilot disconnected. My aircraft.
$1,000. $500.
Looking good.
400. 100 above. $300. Minimum 200. $100. 50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 10, 5.
And reversers. Knots and manual braking. And welcome to Bodo, ladies and gentlemen. Where's the brake set? Beautiful flight. We're just gonna go straight in and park. Get you guys the landing rate. $200 is the landing rate. 200. Not bad. It's all right. Bit firm, but it's okay. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at our replay of our landing. All right. Perfect. We should have started the APU, but yeah, all right, let's go ahead and start the APU before we turn it off. But we've made it safely here. We can kill the lights for sure.
We're here first.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our landing.
Reactors are disarmed.
The doors verified.
All right, let's stop that. And then we're going to load. Let's see, can't take one. That's the one. Perfect. Load. Start. And there we go. How about that? Look at that scene. Here's what we'll do. Let's increase the speed of the drone. And we're going to come quickly here to the airport. All right. And there, let's stop it. Increase the speed a little bit. There's the aircraft. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but there we go. All right, here it comes. Beautiful. All right, let's do it again. Let's bring up. By the way, Flight Control Replay is really a good program to have. We're going to set this, probably bring the aircraft. We want to see it closer, so we can always bring it here. All right, let's play that. You know what? There we go. Much better. All right, let's do it. It's a bit of a firm landing, 200 FPM. Well, folks, this was really a fun flight, and apologies, First Officer Next did not work the way it's supposed to work. Nevertheless, the flight was an enjoyable flight. I really want to thank you guys very much. Duncan, hello, my friend. How are you doing? Very glad to see you on stream. I think it was overall it was a really pleasant flight. It was a lot of fun and quite a challenging approach as well, if you ask me. It was quite an interesting route to this evening. I want to thank you very much for staying up so late and watching the stream. And until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you all very soon. Thanks for tuning in, folks, and good night.